Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Anton Will Bay, and it's been a while since I've done a comic book haul, but I came into this last week probably one of the best comic book hauls I have had in a long time. First off, one thing I picked up this week, last couple weeks, Power of the Prime, number 3, just because I'd never seen this cover before. I'd never actually seen any Ultraverse cover that was this racy. And so it was just one of those one-off things that I bought. But it came with Second City number 1, which is a Harrier comic, which, you know, I will grab Harrier stuff when I see it. It's just not a very common publisher that I get a lot of. So those two, I paid for that one. This one came with it. Can't argue with that. That was a good set of stuff to start my week off with. I did my first ever where I bought, what do you call those? Claim auction things on Facebook. I hate Facebook, but I did a claim auction, and, well, I bought off of a claim auction. It was rather fun, but I was able to pick up a bunch of independent gold. And one of the things I picked up was Jungle Girls number 1. These are classic reprints of a lot of the Jungle Girl titles from the 30s, 40s, stuff like that. And just a beautifully done comics from AC. Very big fan of those. I've had the whole set, but if you ever get a chance to pick one up for $1, oh my gosh, you got to do it. Another book that was in the claim auction was Dawn Wizard Half, which for $1 comes with a little COA and old $25 price tag on it. So I was super pleased with those, and the rest of these comics are from that haul. I also picked up a Warlords of Mars Deja Thoris, which I will always grab the Dynamite ones if I see them. As far as like getting even further off the beaten path, I've showed this book before, but I could not resist getting more of them. This is Ultra Klutz number 1. Just crazy. And I heard the guy who's making these is going to start making them again. What is his name? I think it's Jeff Nicholson. If I remember right, it's Jeff Nicholson. Do we have here? Looking for the name. Pretty sure it's Jeff Nicholson. Anyway, look him up on YouTube. He makes hilarious little cartoons. He doesn't have hardly any followers on his channel, and he totally deserves them, because even his little 1-minute Ultra Klutz cartoons are just awesome to watch. But I picked up Ultra Klutz number 1, the OC version of Ultra Klutz number 1, issue number 2. I grabbed another issue number 1 because, I mean, it's just not a book that you see that often. And so when you see it, you don't want to pass on it. I'm going to move my camera slightly. This is a different... Is that a different? Nope, it's the same. I got multiples of these. I just kind of grabbed all of them that were in the lot, and I didn't really care what they were. So any Ultra Klutz titles, I threw $1 on. So you got Ultra Klutz number 3, and you got the, like, Mockery Justice League here. These books are so indie, but I do recommend these because they are a hoot to read. They are a hoot to look at, period. Such a primitive art style that can be just so enjoyable. Picked up the Mighty Thundra, King of the Congo. Thunda, King of the Congo. These are more just black and white reprints of older comics. The AC did to kind of bring them into the modern era. I always love that vintage stuff. I love their covers. Their covers just always sold it for me. I was able to score. I have an issue of FemForce number 1, but it's got like a big scratch scar right in the middle. Makes it kind of ugly. And so to be able to get another number 1 that's in fantastic shape for $1, and you got like Montague Moon. I mean, this book had a lot going for it. giant Amazon women, dinosaurs, the guy with the like metal jaws. Yeah, it had a lot going for it. Good book. One that, you know, for some reason hasn't like really been deemed as super valuable, but I really see that someday it will, or I feel like it should. And let's see here. I think I picked up, yeah, there it is. I was able to get 2 copies of it. My dream is to someday get one of these graded, because I've never seen any issues of FemForce graded and slabbed. So someday I would love to get FemForce #1 graded and slabbed. That would be like an ultimate for me. FemForce #2. Now, you guys know I've done several FemForce videos, so you know I have these issues. But it's just, when you see an AC Comics FemForce for $1, you should buy it. Anybody out there, you should buy that. I picked up AC Comics Black Phantom #1. This is more classic reprints. It's under the AC Collector Classic line. And most of them are black and white, if not all of them. But I don't care, because they're neat. I don't even know how else to say it. They're just really neat. Blue Bulleteer #1. This is actually an AC comic I didn't have. So is this Black Phantom here. I don't have a lot of their like kind of odd one-shot stuff, and I mean, you can see this thing is just great. It's this weird like Nazi gal, and they beat the hell out of her, and yeah, and a lot of AC comics, they did not pull any punches with their Nazis. I mean, like they go full on. There's swastikas on them and everything. But you can see just that kind of 80s art style. These things were great. Absolutely love them. That's not the Rocketeer. It's the Blue Bulleteer. Also got Miss Victory, The Untold Origin of, AC Comics #1. I don't think I have this one, but something about it looks very familiar. I might have it already. It's been so long. But I wasn't going to risk that I had it or not. I'm obviously going to get that. So, grabbed that. AC Comics, the Collector Classic, Amazon Warriors. This is another book that I don't think I have. I'm going to back my camera up slightly because I seem to be running out of room already. Amazon Warriors. More of the reprint stuff, but I do not turn it down. You see FemForce 20 was coming out this time. You got some good stuff going on in here. Some of it, most of the reprints are pretty clean as far as like being able to see what all's on the page there. It can get a little messy at times, I suppose, but that's kind of the deal whenever you're dealing with that old of original artwork. Just the ability to see it clearly. It's Evangelion and Evangeline, I think. Ariella, I forget. Ariella and Evangeline team up. This is from the Bad Girl era of the 90s. I've got action figures of her. I don't think they ever made an action figure of her, but it's a book I always pick up, or characters I should say that I always pick up. I think that's Tana, the Jungle Girl. I think they're black and white. Their color. I don't know if I can open that. I can open that. Yeah, there's just a little bit too much occasional going on in there for me to really flip that open. Somebody will freak out. Yeah, you never know. But it was #1. It was $1. First of 3. This is Dick Tracy, Book 1, Big City Blues. I wasn't going to get it. I was going to pass on it. But then I noticed that the silhouette that we're dealing with is flat top. And that is one of my all-time favorite Dick Tracy villains. And it is a thicker deluxe comic book, so it wasn't something I was going to pass up. The art in it is meh. And they're using the Warren Beatty interpretation of Dick Tracy, which is fine. But the art in it was just not very good. But I had to get it just for that flat top cover, because it's the flat top cover. AC Comics, Savage, Jungle Beauty, Cave Girl. I picked this up book. I think this is the third one of these I've gotten. It's just a book I don't leave. That red cover with the tiger stripe on it is just too cool to not get every time. Whoa, it's the making of When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth going on in the back. Classic AC goodness going on the inside. So, for $1, there's no way. This one, not familiar with. Just like the cover. I know it was a PC and it was a #1. Turns out it is vintage reprinted stuff, which I think we've already established I'm a pretty big fan of. And it looks pretty damn good. And it's all in glossy, slick color, which sometimes I prefer the black and white, sometimes I prefer the color. I'd say most of the time I prefer color, but you take what you get when you're getting stories that old and that rare. Alien Worlds #5. I will never pass on Alien Worlds, any issues, if they're $1. Alien Worlds, what's their other one? Alien Encounters and stuff like that. Those books are always a must get if I see them. And these were $1, so I wasn't passing. AC Comics, Soldiers of Freedom #1. This is another AC book that I had never heard of. And, you know, that's how I learned about more other books that I've never heard of. Fantasy features. I will be looking for that. Ships in August. Soldiers of Freedom #2. I mean, it's AC Comics. It is what it is. That's the stuff right there. FemForce Special #1. 52 pages. This has got that Lady Luger again. Like I said, they do not draw back on their Nazi villains. They are not afraid to have that. It's just part of history. And they're always used as excellent bad guys in a lot of these series. So it's always a book I'll get. FemForce #3. This is not like a super exciting issue or anything. It's an earlier issue of FemForce. I always get FemForce when they're out. That's an awesome octopus. So you get the idea. I'm not going to leave these in a bin for $1 or in a sale or anywhere. They're just not a book I leave behind. And that goes for basically any issue. I don't think there's ever been one that I've seen that I have passed on. Just in general. I got to slightly shift my position because I'm freaking sore. FemForce #4. This is probably their worst cover ever. The Hypnotic Eye. They changed the font on this issue for some reason. It's dumb looking. But it's your standard FemForce fare, which is what it is. And here's an AC Comics I don't have. This is the Untold Origins of FemForce. 64-page all color. This is not one I was familiar with. So of course I'm going to get it. I think it just features the origin stories, which is basically like reprints of the other issues. Because yeah, there's issue #1 of the various team members. Just introduced in one big book. So it's basically reprints, but you know what? I didn't know, so I got it. Caliber Comics, Cheerleaders from Hell. Believe it or not, I have heard of this book. I already have it. It's one that I just was like, you know what? If I have a chance to see another one, I'm going to buy it. I don't imagine there's a lot of them out there. Very 80s independent, black and white stuff. Basically a bunch of cheerleaders get superpowers from hell somehow, and it's been years since I read it. The art in it's not bad. It's not like landmark write home about, but it's good. Miss Victory Special #1. I don't believe I had this one, so I was pretty excited to have another AC comic that I'd never heard of or never seen. Like I said, you don't leave them, especially you don't leave them if you are not familiar with them. It's something different. I was very excited by this. This is Whisper #1 from Capital, the original printing, I believe. So I was pretty excited about that. Whisper went on to be done in AC Comics, or not AC. What am I thinking? Epic? No. What the heck was that comic line? Eclipse. It was on the tip of my tongue. It was there somewhere. Just had to find it. Yeah, they were done by Eclipse Comics. They ran a good run for a long time. But I'd never seen one by Capital, and I certainly had never seen first issue. And I can't believe that nobody else threw $1 on this thing. And I got it for $1, so I am just over the moon. This is from A-List Comics. This is Pulp Fiction, which is actually the name of the comic. Pulp Fiction #1. Reprint of classic horror, vintage style comics. I mean, you got you got a book in here. That's too many words. Anyway. Also picked up The World of Wood 4 of 4. I have never seen a World of Wood. I've looked for them. They're not terribly easy to find. Wallywood stuff is pretty well sought after. And I was just glad to grab an issue of it for $1. $1. And then finally, this is AC Comics. This is one I knew the character, but I had not had any of her standalone comic books. This is Sky Gal, Ginger Mcguire, issue #1. She is classic reprinted stuff from ye olden times. This one is still sealed in the plastic with her trading card because she's a waitress. Well, waitress / she was a flight attendant / waitress, I think, was the deal. But there you go. That's what you're in for right there. I was just super excited by this book. I was super excited by all these books. Like I said, this has been one of the best comic book hauls I have had easily all this year. And if you exclude like the mass collections and inventories that I bought last year, for my personal love of comics, this has been the best set I've probably bought in ages. I can't think of anything that's been better. This has been so fantastic. Yeah, so if you see one of them claim auctions where people are throwing up a lot of weird stuff, maybe take a look in it. Maybe grab yourself some AC Comics. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. That's my story. Catch you guys later. Bye.